Do you want to create a thriller webtoon? Is thriller one of the things that is the driving force in your life? Is it something that you cannot bear without? Is it the stories that keep you up at night, that make you motivated to create? Well, we're going to be talking all about how you can make your thriller webtoon amazing. We want it where readers will not be able to put down your story. They will be clamoring. They will be clamoring for the next episode. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Obviously, take everything I say with a grain of salt. You can pause the description to read it, but let's go ahead and start with this. Every thriller webtoon requires three basic elements, three things that you need. One, you need to be able to understand how to build tension. This is so important in any type of thriller, horror, psychological, any of that. If tension is not there, if you're just relating facts to me, I'm not here for it. Like, I want to feel the tension. I want my heart pounding. Like, I want those jump scares to count. I want where that character is about to open the door, I want to be like, don't open it. You're in danger. So learn how to build tension in your writing. Next, you've got to be able to craft twist. And so here's the thing about twist that I think people don't understand. It does not need to be random. Like, you can't just like all of a sudden change the entire script. You've got to build up to this as well. And it still has to be unexpected. So you've got to drop breadcrumbs. You've got to let the audience try and figure it out. You've got to lead them in a way that's going to misdirect them. But you've got to do it in a way where it makes sense and they never saw it coming. And then our last thing is the visuals have to be gripping. Like, I want to feel the fear of the characters. I want to feel the tone makes me feel eerie, makes me feel creepy. I want to feel the darkness. I want to feel, just by the look of your comic, I know that if I lived in this world, I would be in danger. That is what you need. Tension, twist, and gripping visuals. Okay. So we've got all three covered, right? Let's move on to our next thing. So we're going to kind of go like step by step and figure out like what we need to craft, how we need to craft it. And so we're starting with creating a unique and gripping concept. So the first thing you have to do, this is for anyone making any sort of mystery, anything along the lines in that genre. You've got to start with a super strong hook. Like, people who are into this genre want to know what's like, they want to feel the mystery from the very beginning. And a lot of you are naming a bunch of webtoons in chat that do this so well. School Bus Graveyard is mentioned, Bastard is mentioned, Codename Colors, Distant Sky. Like, all of this stuff is super important. If you look at the beginning of their series, right away they set up the mystery. There is not a delay because they know that the people who like this genre are invested in trying to figure out what's going on. So when you start with this strong hook, you've got to convey clearly to the readers what the danger is or what the mystery is, and immediately draw those readers in. So here are some really basic examples. A detective whose dreams predict future crimes. So, that is a very easy concept at its base level, but can get extremely complex. Next, a town where people vanish during a reoccurring fog. So immediately, we have a mystery here. Are people dying? Are they just disappearing? Is someone taking them? Like, what's going on? And then the third example is a protagonist receives anonymous texts that know their every move. So no matter what this person does, they will receive a text. Would that not be terrifying? Could you imagine not being able to do anything and then like everything that you do, you think you're in private, you get a text and someone's like, yoo-hoo. So here's the thing. That is the basis. Like, if we've got a pyramid going, that is your foundation. This is what every good thriller, every good mystery, every horror story sets up. Something easy for the readers to latch onto and try and figure out what's going on. Each one of these in of itself sets up a question. And some of them set up multiple questions. Now, here's the last thing. When you're conceptualizing this concept, you need to understand that it can't just be, oh, they have predictions about the future. I need the stakes to be high. I need to feel like anything that's happening in this world is going to be life altering. Like, I'm talking, survival. Like, will my character even survive? Like, I, as the reader, want to be able to feel this from the very beginning. And we're going to analyze that when we do our episode where we review Everything Is Fine. And we'll see exactly how Mike sets up his story. But you can tell the stakes are high in a story whenever the characters feel some sort of tension, whenever the characters are expressing the tone and mood of the story. Like, all of that's so important, and it needs to be conveyed to the reader why this is important, why this is such a stress-inducing situation. All of that is super important to give to your readers. So right away, if you do not have these two things, you've got to go back to the drawing board. We need a super strong hook, like a mystery, something that sets up a question for the readers that'll draw us in. And then we need high stakes. We need for this to be something that is going to feel impactful, something that's going to feel like it will affect the overall arching storyline throughout everything. Like, I'm talking like serial killers, I'm talking alien abductions, all of that. High stakes. Think high stakes. Shoot for the stars, people. Okay, so once we've got our basic concept down, we've got like a little bit of what the plot's going to be like, we've got, the level of tension that we're trying to develop, we want to create complex characters. And I just want to say, it's so interesting because a lot of times in mysteries, what makes a character so endearing is they have a strong flaw. Like, I think School Bus Graveyard was mentioned earlier, and like, I think Ashley, I can't remember her name. Like, she has such a strong flaw from like the first episode that you can tell like her antisocial behavior is going to be her downfall, more or less. And of course, it's an arc or whatever, so she'll likely outgrow it or overcome it, whatever. But the thing of it is like, having a flaw with your character just creates such good juicy tension. Are they arrogant? Is it arrogant that's going to lead to their downfall? Is that the reason they're going to be defeated by the villain? Like, you want the readers to feel like, I understand why this character could potentially lose. Like, setting all of that up is so good. So they should be relatable, but capable of navigating dangerous situations as well. So, like, it drives me crazy sometimes when you have characters where it's like, wow, that serial killer is so amazing at killing everyone else, but he cannot kill the 15-year-old high school student who has no skills, no talent, no nothing. So make me understand why this character is able to take care of themselves, why they're able to combat, the antagonist of the story or the villain of the story, or whatever situation they find themselves in, they're able to overcome it. Now, it doesn't have to be in every situation, but you want to make them capable to an extent. You've got to give them some good qualities. You've got to give them some good skills, but don't forget the weakness. Like, I'm talking trauma. I'm talking paranoia. I love a paranoid character in a thriller series. Like, because that's how I feel. I'm paranoid when I'm reading a story that's like got me sucked into his world. I'm like, okay, like, I would not open that door. I would not go around that corner. I would turn around. Like, you want your readers feeling that way. And because your character feels that way, it intensifies that emotion so much more. So having that level of giving them strengths and weaknesses is really going to help to balance out the story. And it's so much more impactful, in my opinion, in thrillers than anything else. Because a lot of times thrillers are kind of grounded in like a very strong sense of reality that we as humans have, which is fear. And like, if there is no fear within the characters, I'm not going to feel fear either. Like, if they feel like they're going to overcome everything, like, that could be a juicy moment. Like, I'm not saying there aren't exceptions, but if they don't feel fear, I don't think I'll feel fear either. Mr. Joy said, I'm currently working on pages for my horror/mystery/thriller themed manga called The 13 Unluckies. Oh, cool. Very interested to see how that plays out, Mr. Joy. Stealthy Mouse, squeak, squeak. I'm so glad you could be here. Okay, next let's talk about the villain and antagonist. This is probably the most crucial character in your story. Like, I know that the protagonist is the main person. That's probably the person that you love. That's the person that you feel the most joy writing. No, your villain in your thriller needs to be your everything. Like, they are the ones setting up moves. They are the ones setting up, you know, the downfall of the antagonist. They're the ones who should have like these like backstory that makes us feel like, oh my god, I understand why you're trying to take over the world. Like, I need to feel that. So your antagonists, they have to be smart. Like, there is no world where a dumb antagonist in a thriller series is not getting caught. So automatically, that's an instant trait for your character. They have to be smart. They need to be compelling, and they possibly, not all the time, there are exceptions to this, they need to be sympathetic. An exception of this I think of is like in The Dark Knight, there's the Joker. There's no way he's sympathetic, but his level of crazy is fascinating. Like, I feel like if you can't make them sympathetic, you need to make them fascinating. You need to make us as the audience be like, this is insane behavior, but it's like a train wreck. I can't look away. Like, they're so entertaining every second that they're on the screen. They eat all the other characters up. Like, that's how your antagonist or villain needs to feel. So I included a few examples of like antagonists or villains. So you can have like your criminal mastermind, you can have a corrupt organization, or you can have an ally that turns into a betrayer of your protagonist. All of that's super interesting to think about, and it's all things that you have to create before you start making episodes. I'm sorry, like, to me, thriller is one of the more complicated levels of storytelling, because a lot of this you have to plan out beforehand, and if you don't, it just opens up the story to plot holes. And thriller readers are probably one of the most critical readers that I think there are, because like, they're detectives. They're trying to piece everything together, like me holding my magnifying glass. Like, I'm looking at all of the I's, I'm looking at all of the T's, and I'm making sure that you're crossing and dotting everything. And if you're not, I'm going to call you out. So just think about that. All of this needs to be done before you actually start releasing episodes. Do not release a mystery or a thriller or a horror series where you do not have your basics figured out. Like, I'm not saying everything. You don't have to know like how every murder happens or anything like that, but you need to know some of the basic foundations of your story. So we're like on level 2. Now let's talk about the supporting characters. So these are going to be your allies, they're going to be your informants, your red herrings, and this is going to help to deepen the suspense. Like, just think about the purpose that they serve, and think about how you can intensify that, how they can make the story move forward. Make sure that those supporting characters have a purpose and that they're able to help elevate either the villain or elevate the protagonist. I love whenever a mystery thriller horror writer misdirects me into believing that a supporting character is the sus character, and the whole time I'm like, it's them. This is super, super important. Like, do not underestimate these characters. Like, readers are going to be looking for those breadcrumbs, and you can have them spread out all over the place. Like, just throw them everywhere for me to pick up. Poyo said, I love writing my antagonists, as you should. Are you said dumb villain challenge accepted? Okay, listen, are you? If you make a dumb villain and it's like compelling and amazing, I will eat those words. I'm here for it. Lori Love says, what's the difference about thriller and horror? What I know is horror is not limited to ghost story, isn't it? Hold on. Sorry. I had to cough. I think this was answered earlier. Mr. Joy said thriller equals suspense, horror equals fear and disgust, which is a very simple way of putting it. So I would say like thriller, a lot of times ends up focusing more on like psychology a little bit. In horror, it does have psychological elements, but it's really more like ingrained, like grotesque, like think like chainsaw massacre type stuff like that. That's going to be your horror. Thriller is going to be like your more crime show area, or like a detective type series. Not all the time. I'm just saying, like, that could be an easy way for you to kind of like figure out in what sphere I'm talking about. I am mentioning thriller and horror because they're not necessarily interchangeable, but they do overlap a lot, and I feel like a lot of the structuring for this, you can add a little bit more to it to make it horror, or you can add a little bit more to it to make it suspense. I'm sorry, I keep coughing. Oh my god. Oh my good grief. I'm so sorry. Okay. Um, Say said thrillers don't always need to be scary. Horror is scary. While thriller is suspenseful, thriller tends to be more serious, while in horror you can always sprinkle a bit of comedy. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, depending on what you're creating or what you're trying to make, like, just focus on the building blocks first, and then decide if you're going to go full horror, full thriller, or what you're trying to do. Yes, I love me a hot villain like that all day, hands down. Okay, so boy said, "What if the main villain is mystery, but the antagonist is the police?" I'm not sure what you're asking, so clarify a little bit more for me. Okay, now this kind of leads into planning an intriguing plot. So this involves work on your behalf beforehand, like 1000%. Like, you've got to put in the work. So you want to introduce your central mystery, so present the crime, a secret, or a threat that drives the story forward. So this is your inciting incident. Like, what happens that makes your character move forward into diving into this mystery or whatever else is happening. Oh my god, guys, the ab supremacy lives on. That ab video is coming, I promise. Okay, so then after you do this, you want to build tension through revelations. So this is going to be where you're dropping clues and the readers are finding out things and you're confirming things about the mystery. And so everything is building up. You're creating that tension. So, like, you're going from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and you're kind of zigging and zagging along the way, kind of trying to figure everything out. And so this leads us up to the actual twist. You're going to have multiple twists in your series. Like, hands down, it should not be super linear. I mean, I guess you could. I feel like that's kind of boring, but if you're a first-time thriller writer, maybe doing something straightforward is just the way to get the story done. But I feel if you're really trying to get in there, you want to subvert those expectations to keep the readers guessing. So this is what we were talking about earlier, where I was talking about the supporting characters. Maybe an ally is the actual villain, and like, you never revealed completely that they were the ones doing it. Like, every time something happened, maybe they were there. Maybe every time something went wrong, like, they were in the room, or they were the ones who set up the object or set up the trap. And so, like, you're kind of leaving those breadcrumbs, and then it's making it all point towards this one character, but then surprise, it's actually another character. So, like, creating a specific way of leading the readers to a specific character and then twisting it. Of course, some of the readers are going to guess it's another character. Like, that's just how readers are. But if you're doing a good job, the readers should be divided. They should be guessing different things. So make sure to subvert those expectations. So I gave some examples. A trusted friend turns out to be an enemy. Another example is the protagonist unknowingly causes part of the disaster. So that's something that I feel like is always super interesting, when the protagonist is part of the main problem. Like, they're the one who kind of triggered the events for all of this to start. And so that involves, again, say it with me, planning. Please plan your thriller. Do not just, throw your thriller together and hope that it's going to work out. This is a more complicated genre that involves a little bit more forethought. Okay, so that's why I wanted to include this. You got to have your basic plot structure, like 1000%. Yes, you guys bully me a little bit into making this ab video, but trust, it's going to be amazing. Like, I feel like I was bullied a lot into making this ab video, but it's happening. Okay, so basic plot structure. So again, let me just run through this really quickly. you can, take a screenshot of this if you need to give yourself some guidelines. Like, that's why I try to keep this slide simple. But you're going to have your introduction. You're going to establish your world, establish the stakes, and what the initial problem is. That's everything that should be in your introduction. All of that. Make sure that's included. Then you're going to build tension. This is where we're going to escalate the danger level, and we're going to add in some unanswered questions. Like, things are going to be asked, characters are going to talk about it, but there's going to be no answers. Do not give answers to readers in the beginning of the story. Like, let them work for it. Let me work for it. Do not have a conversation in one episode where you guys ask, like, I wonder why they're chasing us. And then in the next episode, they're like, yeah, so they're chasing us because we actually have the diamond. No! No, don't do that. Okay, and so while we're building the tension, this is where we finally make it to the climaxes of the story. So this is where the moments are intense. We're getting high action. We're getting revelations. We're getting near-death scenarios. So, like, don't just put things in there for, I don't know, like, fun. Like, make sure that they are juicy. Make sure that they have some oomph behind them. Like, don't be like, this is just a cute moment. No, this is a scary moment. This is a moment that we've been working for this entire time. Make that climax count. Like, leave your readers being like, wow, they did the thing. Okay, and then you have your resolution. Now, I have a controversial opinion about this, but I tried to keep it as balanced as possible. So solve the central mystery or conflict, but leave some lingering questions. I am so annoyed when a mystery does not get solved at the end. Like, I do not want to speculate about who the villain was. I do not want people to be divided afterwards. I want a clear ending. Like, you can leave some things unresolved. You can leave some questions. Like, you could even set it up where, like, one villain was doing the centralized killing or doing whatever, terrorizing the town, and then they catch him, but it's revealed within the end credits or whatever that they were just a puppet. That's fine. We caught the main one, or we caught the one that was actually terrorizing our protagonist then. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But I swear, if we don't catch them or do anything, I'm upset about it. So give me some moments where I feel satisfied. Leave the readers satisfied with some sort of resolution. Okay? Okay, that could be controversial. Like, I can see a bunch of y'all being like, I like to leave readers guessing the entire time. And I will say, I do love Inception. Amazing movie. But do not Inception me. That's a one-hit wonder type trick that doesn't work all the time. Okay? All right. So for your mystery, thriller, whatever, you're going to have to figure out how to master your pacing. And this involves, I feel like, two specific skills: setting up good cliffhangers and varying the scene lengths, like short and long, short and long. Like, actually, for thrillers, I feel like shorter and longer episodes mixing in between, as long as they have a purpose and they have a point, it really helps the story to, create a sort of emotion or a sort of tension within the readers. So we'll talk about that a little more, but let's talk about cliffhangers first. So cliffhangers, to me, I kind of break them up into two categories. We have our soft cliffhangers and we have our hard cliffhangers. So a soft cliffhanger could be like the episode ends on a question. So they might be like, man, we found this glove. I wonder whose glove this is. And then it's like, dun, 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 or something like that. And so the readers are like, oh yeah, whose glove is that? Who dropped it? Who was wearing a glove? Like, that could all be, that to me would be a soft cliffhanger where the characters are talking and ask a question. A hard cliffhanger would be something in the middle of the action. So maybe your character is like fighting somebody and they get pushed down the stairs and the episode ends with them falling backwards. That is a hard cliffhanger. I need to know what happens next. Like, you're stopping in the middle of a scene. What the mess? Or the characters are like investigating something and a shadowy figure appears behind them. So it's like, okay, what's happening? So all of that is super important to me. Like, varying in those cliffhangers helps the readers to keep coming back week after week, but it also helps the readers to have like moments where they can also think and contemplate on the story. So, you have to think about how to effectively include those stories in a way that will entice readers to keep reading and wanting to come back every week. Wintermelon said, building the tension. Hot male character with shirt on. Inciting incident. Him lifting his shirt. Climax reveals his abs. Oh my god. Okay. That was actually pretty good. That would make a really good short comic. Okay. I'm here for it. We will subscribe. Enter that into the contest, please. Okay, so now that we've covered the cliffhangers, let's talk a little bit more about the varying scene lengths. So slow down for moments of dread. So when something's happening that's intense, you've got those like emotions really kicking in with the characters. Like give me some extra panels. Slow down the pace. Like let us sit in this emotion for a little bit of time and then build up from there. And then for you want to speed up during chases or confrontations. Like if two characters are going at it, like let those panels move quickly. Give them a little closer together so I can like jump instantly down to the next panel. Like make sure that the speed of everything is being conveyed well to the reader so that they can feel that throughout the story and how you're pacing it. All right, so then we want to think about the visual suspense. So this is where we're kind of using a bunch of skills all at once. So thinking about the paneling, you're going to use narrow, vertical panels for slow reveals, and then you're going to use wide panels for big reveals or those really shocking moments. Then if we're talking about lighting, so we're using shadows and contrasting colors to set a dark and mysterious tone. Like every thriller horror mystery needs to have these elements. Like could you go really happy-go-lucky, pink and bubbly? I think you could, but I still need moments where you give me that thriller shot. And then close up. So this is going to highlight fearful eyes and really push the emotion. Like really make me feel like in their eyes that they're afraid. Trembling hands. So that onomatopoeia or the special effects, like you can do some creative things to indicate that the character's trembling. Like you can do a lot to really make me feel like I'm in the moment with the character, and then add in some subtle clues. So this could be glances, this could be focusing in on an object or something that's on the character. So all of that's really important. And then this is, I kind of highlighted it earlier, but the sound effects, do not sleep on your sound effects. Like really focus in on what could help. Like remember, like comics are silent, so we don't have any of the auditory effects that like a movie or a TV show would have. So it's really important to make sure you include those noises. Like of course your characters can react to noises that we don't hear, but I think we covered it in a recent episode where we were talking about was it Code Grace that had really cool onomatopoeia. Like it's super important to include that because it can really bring life to a panel that otherwise didn't have any life. Oh, Chiku, hello. I'm so glad you can make it. Oh, everybody's been talking about their favorite thriller webtoons. So mine is Everything Is Fine. I actually buy the physical copies. I love it. I hope that we can bring Mike onto the channel one day. Like I need to message him and be like, would you like to interview with us so that we can talk about thriller comics, please? Okay. So I think in every type of thriller, horror, mystery, you gotta build that psychological tension. Like we need paranoia, we need fear, and we need the characters to be a little unreliable sometimes. Like all of that can be effective and help enhance how the story is being told. Then you want to keep the readers questioning who to trust. Like I want to feel like every other character I meet, my protagonist that I'm following is in danger. Like I want to feel that like no one can be trusted. Like there's so much that you can include into the story that really helps to build tension within, the audience as well as within the world itself. So don't sleep on setting up characters to take the fall when they're not going to take the fall. Oh, and then this last point, I think this is probably one of the most interesting things that you can do for your characters is introducing moral dilemmas. Force the characters to make difficult choices, things that are ethically gray. So, and this can really spark or ignite conversation within the audience. Like, people will start putting themselves in the shoes of the protagonist, being like, oh yeah, I would have done that, or no, I would never do that. Like, there's so many moments where it's like, is this the right answer? Yes or no? And then it's like, well, you're not there. You don't feel what the character feels. Like, this can be so good. And so, like, actually actively make the characters make choices. Don't just let the plot happen to them. Don't just let the random killer or serial killer or the murderers or the aliens or whatever you have in your story, don't just let them force the character to like run away, and then like plot happens and it stops them from doing anything. Make the characters make choices that affect the ultimate outcome of everything. Like, should they have actually followed that noise? Well, if they didn't, then they would have survived. So do stuff like that. Make things where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that, and leave me on a cliffhanger so I could be like gagged. Okay. So then we want to include action and danger. All good thriller series have a little bit of action, but they have tons of danger. So don't sleep on either of these. So you want to mix tense conversations with chase scenes, fights, or confrontations. So like, think about the things that the characters are saying, kind of involve that within some action. And then you want to make sure to keep the violence meaningful. So like, if they are fighting, like, so this is where we get into more thriller than horror. If they're fighting each other or something like that, don't just have them fighting for fun's sake. Like, that's an action series then. Like, the fight has to mean something. Like, it has to, deliver some sort of information to the audience. It should advance the plot, or it should reveal character traits. So like, if the character is like going on a killing spree, it reveals like, this character is psychotic, like you in danger girl type situation. So make sure that everything that you're doing for thriller serves a bigger purpose. You're not making a shonen. You're not making an action series. You're making a thriller. That means that stuff's just gotta mean stuff. Okay, and so then we're gonna add layers to the subplot and clues. So the subplot can include, personal secrets of the protagonist. Maybe the protagonist is hiding something from the audience and you keep hinting at it. You keep letting people know, like, there is some mystery in their backstory. There is something that goes on with this character. I think of a good example of this isn't My Deepest Secret. The main character, she is so like cute and bubbly and everything, but she has like a terrible backstory. So you can set that up from the very beginning. Like, and it kind of makes you wonder, like, a lot of things pop into mystery or thriller reader lovers, like, pops into their head, like, why does this character like this type of character? Why does this character want to be friends with this type of character? All of that is in question. All of that's on the board. You can be setting all of this up from the very, very beginning. So hide the agendas of the side character. Maybe, you're trying to figure out why the character is working with the main character. Maybe you're trying to figure out, like, what that character is gaining from being with this character. All of that is really important and will be super impactful and helpful to developing out the story. And then small puzzles that build towards solving the bigger mystery. So I like to think of it in sections almost. So if you have your plot, you could have like 3 small puzzles and then 1 big puzzle. Like, that would be the climax. So like, the 3 small puzzles are linked together, and you go from puzzle 1 to puzzle 2 to puzzle 3, and at each puzzle state you're just giving people information to help them understand the overall story. So then this is really obvious, but you're gonna drop subtle clues for attentive readers to notice. So those really like subtle clues, some readers are not going to have any clue about them. They're going to read right over it. And I'm one of those readers. Like, when I'm reading, I'm just here for a good time. Remember, you need to also drop some very obvious clues. Like, they could be subtle, but like, you draw attention to a knife over and over again. So it's like, obviously this knife is important, pay attention. So there's going to be stuff like that where like readers are going to pick up, okay, somebody's going to use this knife. So there's things that you can do without giving any information that will help the story overall to be able to enhance the plot line. And just don't sleep on the fact that your readers are looking for clues. Give them clues, but don't make it obvious. And then we want to end with impact. So ensure each arc resolves in a satisfying way while leaving room for future stories. So whatever arc you set up for your protagonist, your villain, or whatever, make sure that I feel satisfied that they are reaching a climax that is enjoyable. And then offer a mix of resolution and ambiguity to keep readers talking. So this is where I say that the story should wrap up in a satisfying way, like maybe we caught the villain, but the end scene has something in it that indicates that there's more, or that there's something else going on that will be in the next book, or that we'll never know. That is completely okay to me. You solved the main mystery, and now I have something to talk about, like what actually happened. Was that the real villain? Did they catch the right killer? Like there's so many aspects of this that involves so much of the community within the Thriller series that I feel like it's very important to understand who is expecting the story in the thriller genre. Little detectives. Okay, so with that, my question to the community is, what thriller webtoon would you recommend that we study? So this could be anything from your favorite thriller series to, your least favorite. Like, I want to know what the good ones are. I want to know what the bad ones are. I want to know why I should study it. I want to know if it's more mystery focused. I want to know if it's more horror focused. All of that is super important. Leave your comments down below. All right, so we're going to enter a brief question and answer part where you can ask me anything you would like. Just remember, I don't have to answer it if it's kind of weird or I don't feel like it. Okay. Is horror and thriller club in the same category? They are like cousins. As far as webtoon goes, I don't think they're really horror. Like, I feel like they have a few horror series on their platform, but I think overall they're more on the psychological, like thriller aspect side. Like there are, to me, like they're like, thriller can have brutal moments, but it's not going to stay on the brutal. Like, it'll have moments of cruelty, moments of brutality, but we're not going to stay there the whole time. Like, it's not going to be like Saw, or it's not going to be like, I guess like Hannibal Lecter does a little bit of both, where I feel like it balances in between being horror and psychological thriller. But if anything, I think I would categorize it as psychological thriller. But hey, I'm just one person. Cha, hello. I feel like I haven't gotten a chance to talk to you in a while. I hope you're doing okay. Are you joining the contest? I am. If you want to see what I'm doing, you can check out my Patreon. You can join the free tier. I've got 2 or 3 videos up of the project that I'm working on where I talk all about it. And I recently posted a video. I think the last video I posted kind of like summarized everything that was going on, like all my character designs, what the plot was, all of that stuff. So if you're really interested, you can check that out. Say said, Coraline might be a good thriller horror. There's people's life on the line, plus scary monsters, and it gets you thinking as the story progresses, and the atmosphere doesn't get better till the end. Yeah, I think that's a good example. Vibe Zula said Coraline gave me nightmares, still a good scare years later. I cannot do really scary. Like, if I'm one of those people where if I'm scared in the theater, I will like throw the popcorn up in the air. So like, I have to be very careful about what scary movies I watch, when and where. Arya said, I really like Sweet Home. It might be considered a horror, though. I think Sweet Home would be considered more on the horror side. That's actually one of the ones that I was thinking of when I was like, yeah, I think this leans more towards horror than it does thriller. If you want to study a thriller movie, I recommend Signs or The Sixth Sense. They define the thriller genre. Agreed, 1000%. Andy said, could I recommend some horror/thriller anime? Yeah, go ahead. I'm so down to hear what horror or thriller anime you would recommend. Chiku, I recently finished Manny, and it is so well written. Like, it can be a movie adaptation, definitely. I would recommend reading it. What's Manny? What's it about? Like, what is it on? Is it a webtoon? Mr. Joy said, Tomahawk Angle is my favorite thriller webcomic. It's on Tapas and not Webtoons, though. Yeah, it doesn't have to be on Webtoons. Guys, y'all could recommend anything to me. Like, it does not always have to be Webtoons. I'm not going to say that. Yeah. So please recommend me all of the good stories. Like, I'm just down for a good story. Pollo said, I think mine fits most of your criteria. I'm not trying to be cocky, I swear. Hey, I'm all for it. If you think it fits, like, enter the thriller category. Guys, listen, when the contest starts, I cannot wait to see y'all's comics. Like I'm being so serious. I am prepared to do dramatic readings. Like, I want to read everyone's comic who supports the channel. I want us to read it together. I want us to have like a little read party, like a little book club party. I want us to like support each other. Like, I'm so excited about this, and I feel like it's going to be all different types of stories, which is going to be the most fun, because like I'm just so interested to see like the variation within the genre itself, especially for like me who's trying to enter epic. I feel like that's going to be so fun, just because like epic can be defined like almost as anything. Like, you can have like a sports team and it can be like an epic series. Like, I'm so down to check out how people tell the stories. Like, I think that'll be the most fun. Vibe said, Promised Neverland is such a good thriller. First season only, though. Don't watch the second. I loved The Promised Neverland. Like, I did not read the manga. And so when I watched that first episode, like, everything about it, like the mood, the tone, the death of that girl. Oh my God, it was so good. Oh, yeah, season 2 ruined everything. Jay, I'm so excited to see all the comics from the contest. Me too. Sonia said, there's definitely something I want to change in my script now after this stream. Ooh, I'm very interested to see. Hopefully, maybe you can tell me in the future what you decided to change. Andy, works from Satoshi Kon, I think would be great to check out. Perfect Blue. Ooh, I think Perfect Blue, is that the one that like is very similar to Black Swan with Natalie Portman? I can never remember. I'm like, if so, I watched that one. If not, then it's one that someone's recommended to me that I haven't watched. Paranoia Agent, anime, but warning, they go over touchy subjects, but are very suspenseful and trippy. I'll definitely have to check that one out. I really like, I prefer like thriller to be in a movie opposed to like a series, because sometimes I feel like series can drag it out too long, and I'm like, this should not be this long. GQ said it's about a guy who enters families and breaks them from the inside. Manny? Okay, that sounds really cool. Work said a great thriller anime I would recommend is Perfect Blue. It was made like 20 or more years ago, but it's awesome. I believe Hollywood movie Black Swan was inspired by. Yes. Okay. Yes. So I couldn't remember if that was the movie or not, but there's literally like shots from Perfect Blue and Black Swan that are the exact same thing. Like, Black Swan was like down bad for that series. Like, whoever wrote it, they were like eating up that source material. They were like, this is amazing. Winter said, oh my God, please read Promised Neverland manga. It's so good. Okay. Listen, season 2 made me like, I was like, I don't want to read this. I feel like it's probably terrible. Aryu said, I brought the first Promised Neverland, never actually opened it. Dude, send it to me. Jay said, wait, do you have a Discord server, Pantheon? I do not. I am on a Discord server with some cool people from chat, though. We get to hang out a little bit, and I get to chat with them, so that's been really fun. Dash 10 said, oh, hi, Apollo. I really love your content. My storyboard for the first chapter ended up with over 100 panels. I hope Webtoons doesn't have a limit. The only limit they have is the file size. So you can have 100 panels, but you might have to cut the quality. So I actually managed within my first episode, I think it's only going to have like 43 panels. I'm really happy about this. You guys have no idea. Because the original version, I think, had 70. Like when I first drafted out, like in my draft stage, like just where I wrote it out, I think it had over 70. But 43, I'm so excited. I'm like, okay, I condensed this down. I feel like a real comic storyteller right now. Okay. Also, thank you, by the way. I'm really happy you're enjoying the content. Echo me! That Summer Hikaru Died is one of the best horror mystery manga I've ever read. It's got BL though. Its art is amazing. I love me a beautiful like art story. So like you say good art, I'm down. Like I need it right now. Black Swan is actually inspired by Perfect Blue. Yes. Aryu said, oh, the ultimate anime thriller is now and then, here and there. Don't ask about it or look it up. Just watch it. Okay, I'll just watch it. I'm gonna trust you, Aryu. Like, you've been, you haven't steered me wrong yet. So you get one chance. Are you sure you want to use your chance on this? Boyoye said, Summer Hikaru Died is peak. Okay, we're getting like people to co-sign this. Summer Hikaru is getting an anime soon too. Really? Is it going to be a movie or a series? Say said, I also get the feeling where a series feels way too dragged out and I lose interest because it takes 100 chapters to get to the twist. Maybe I'm just not fond of slow burn reveals. I feel like slow burn reveals are fine as long as there's enough twist to keep me interested in the mystery, because I do feel that they drag on too long. And I feel like that's one of the biggest issues with Webtoons is Webtoons is always trying to lock people in for like a long amount of episodes. And I'm like, dude, we just need to have a good amount of episodes. Like Lore Olympus, I feel like one of the things that probably it suffered from the most was too many episodes. Like Rachel ended up setting up so much that she couldn't end the series without, you know, finishing up some of the threads that she had started. Like it's like, okay, that thread started, now you've got to finish it. So I really hope that Webtoons in the future makes the stories tighter. Like there's so many good stories I feel like that have such high potential, but they don't need to be a One Piece. They don't need to be a Naruto or anything like that. Like I don't need 700 chapters. Like some stories only need 20. Some stories need 30. Like give me that good stuff. Like, ugh. Okay. Just the Goop said, Thriller isn't something I usually go for, but I'm eating up all the recommendations. Yes. All these recommendations are really good. I will say, if you want to learn better storytelling, I feel like Thriller is one of the best ways to go, because it just, like, Thriller is so involved with the audience to me, where you're having to like create mystery, you're having to create tension, you're having to create, you know, curiosity, you're having to create, you know, emotional moments. Like you're having to figure out how to manipulate the audience. Like all of that is so crucial and important to like writing in general. All of that can be applied to any genre. But Thriller forces you to do it. Like Thriller is like, no, you can't just be like, bet this is the story. No, like it forces you to actually think instead of just being like, cute couple falls in love. No, like I need to know why they fell in love. I need to know why I'm invested in their love. Like Thriller, like all of the skills you learn from Thriller, I feel like can be applied to any genre. That's my biased opinion, hot take, whatever, however you want to take it. But I'm just saying, like, everything that you learn, like if you could just make, like, this is what I'm gonna start suggesting to people. Do a thriller short story or a mystery short story as your first webtoon, and just take all of those skills and apply it to your next series. Because every series needs mystery. Every series needs emotional manipulation with the audience. Every series needs good pacing. Every series needs to know how to build tension. All of that is so good. So please. Let me get off my soapbox. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Are said 20 megabytes max, no pixel limit, tested it. Nice. Okay. Lori, you're back. We missed you. Welcome back. Yeah, guys, join the Discord. It's a bunch of fun. Like, I mean, obviously, I don't have any control over that. Like, I just come and hang out, and it's a fun time. Like, I hope we can voice chat sometime. Like, that would be so fun for us to just, like, yap about comics. Like, I love to hear you guys talk about that. Let me know. Let me know when y'all plan to do something like that. I would love to hang out for a little bit. Andy said, I personally like the manga Starving Anonymous for horror, but again, they get really nasty in the story with the visuals. I can't deal with really gross visuals. So, like, I feel you. I feel you. Winter said, that's actually why the Promised Neverland manga is so good. It's because it's nothing like the second season anime. It's so much better, I promise. Okay, I'm gonna trust you guys. I'm gonna start reading the manga. I've got to start from the beginning because it's been a while since I read that story. But I'm gonna trust y'all, and if y'all steered me wrong, I know where to come. Just the Goop said, oh, you're talking about Discord. Ecomiya said that Summer Hikaru Died is going to Netflix as a show. They released the trailer last year. Oh, is it going to be... Okay, cool. Are you said, Apollo, me and my friend were talking about your pitch for Webtoon, and we agreed that you could potentially launch a whole new genre. What was my pitch? What did I say? Oh, are you talking about for my my comic entry? For my contest entry? I don't know. I mean, at its core, it's nothing new. It's just not on Webtoons, in my opinion. Like, I just haven't seen anything like it. So, I don't think it's anything new. And I feel like the moment that I add it or someone picks it up, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, bet. Like, let's hand this off to a studio to make something similar and, like, just beat Apollo at his own game. Yeah. So if you don't know, the premise of my webtoon entry is basically it's the Hunger Games meets The Bachelor, or The Bachelor meets the Hunger Games, or The Bachelor meets Squid Games. It's 27 women fight in a battle royale to become the next queen of a nation. Like, that's the whole pitch. Like, that's all it is. And it's nothing like groundbreaking or anything, but I felt like I haven't read anything like that on webtoons. Like, nothing to that extent, but I feel like it hits a lot of like what webtoons likes. It's got the royal premise, so like we're talking fancy outfits and beautiful hair. We're talking like beautiful women. It's got like the royal aspect where it's like, you know, the princely, kingly characters that's just like six packs and abs. And it's got like the action premise of it, but like action that's not just like we're fighting to fight. Like, it's like these girls are going at it, so it's more than just like physical. Like, we're talking betrayal, we're talking scandal, we're talking manipulation. Like, it's got all the things that I love. Like, and then it has the trials in it. So there are 3 main trials and then 3 mini trials. So like a main trial would be like a fighting tournament. So like the characters are in a tournament where they can fight to the death. And then another trial would be like, oh, let's interview you with the live audience. And if the live audience hates you and you get the lowest score, the audience gets to decide how to kill you. So like it's got like aspects like that. So it's nothing like crazy. It's just a fun time. Oh man. Yep. I'm sorry. I'm just yapping about my... Listen, guys, don't get me started. I can yap about this thing for forever. Winter said, I'm foaming out of the mouth for your webtoon pantheon. I'm doing my best. I promise. Like, I can't wait for you guys to read it. Like, I've already got like my marketing plans ready for like I'm gonna start marketing this like in March. So although my comic is not going to be releasing on March 10th, I will start my marketing campaign that day. Just get prepared for it. Are you said that's what we're saying. It's not completely alien, but it's a really fresh idea that would totally be a great read, and it would be a fantasy fulfillment for guys. Yes, yes, yes. So that's the thing. Like, I feel okay, we're getting a little bit into the business side of things, but I feel that I kind of went with this series. Like, I did women instead of men, like, because I thought Bachelorette at first, but I thought Bachelor was a little more interesting because I could do like fun outfits for the girls, but also like I could make like some characters hot for the guys, and like, and then I could have like the hot male characters for the girls again. So it's one of those aspects where it's like, this has appeal for men and women. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about that. Like I said, I'm working on a fantasy comic for my Webtoon entry, but I'm finding that it has a lot of dialogue. What do you guys think about comics with a lot of dialogue? It depends on why you have the dialogue. So, for certain series, they do allow for you to have more dialogue because you have to have more exposition to understand what's going on in the world. So I would say cut anything that doesn't need to be there. So if it's something that can be explained later and doesn't necessarily affect the scene, move on. So like sometimes I know that people get stuck on their magic system when they're first introducing the story. But unless, like, let's say your character can manipulate water, sometimes people might get on the tangent of explaining like to the molecular level, like how their character can manipulate that element or how they can do all these cool things. No. I only need to know in this moment that they can manipulate water. Like, keep it simple. And then when a moment arises for that information to be revealed, that, oh, it's not just water, like they can get down on, they can change it to ice or steam or all of the other forms that water can take. Like, then you can get into it and be like, okay, this moment brings up that they're actually a master of water and they can have it turn into all other forms of water. So like when I'm talking about exposition, cut as much as you can. Like, I don't need to know about your world's tax laws. I don't need to know that there was a war 16 million years ago. Cut, just cut. Like, just keep cutting dialogue as much as possible until like it's so lean that you're like, I feel like nothing's there. But trust me, enough is there. Always go with less than more. Da 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 da. Pollo said, I will be sat for Pantheon's webcoin. Yes! Thank you. I'm really excited about that. How does one market their webtoon? I think it would depend on what your story's about. That's such a broad question. I guess a really easy way you could do that a lot of people do is they get trending audios and they like insert their characters and have them talk, and that can build interest for the character. I think about what's her name? She makes the Masked Queen. She does that. Like, she saves like trending audios and adds them into her story. Not into her story, onto her socials, so that people can find out about her story. And then she leaves like a little clip at the end that talks about like, read the Masked Queen now or whatever. I did do an episode with a roundtable episode with a few other creators where we talked about like marketing and whatnot. I think I've done 2 now, so definitely check those out. There were some helpful tips in there if you just want like a broad explanation, but to really give you like some specific advice, I would have to know like, what's your series about? Like, what is it like? I tell you, the easiest way to market your story, if you have no idea, figure out what's similar to your story and then see what that other story did when they marketed theirs. So like, for instance, like with my series, it's similar to The Hunger Games, it's similar to The Bachelor, it's similar to Squid Games. So I looked at like what Squid Games, Hunger Games, and The Bachelor does for their marketing. Like how do they market? And I wrote down like ideas that I thought was cool, and I was like, oh yeah, I could totally do something similar to this. I could totally do, this exactly. Oh, this inspired me to come up with this idea. And so you just have to do a little research. It doesn't take a lot. Like just figure it out and go from there. Like you got this. No, Sonia, I did not know that your comic is inspired by the horror show From. I've never even heard of that. I'm guessing it's really good. Say said, I'm gonna say, please no isekai because I'm so tired, but I can't stop reading them. Listen, people say that. Like, everyone's like, I don't want isekai. But y'all are the reason that those stories keep happening. Y'all are the reason why people, like, these studios and stuff keep making isekai stories. Because y'all eat that up. Vibe says, I think Hunter x Hunter depends on what it's about. Oh, are you? You're giving me some really good ideas. Like a calendar is really smart. I need to write that down. Marshall! Okay, guys. So Marsh is super awesome. I posted about it before I went live, but they have their Kickstarter, which is available now for you to pledge to. You can get the first copy of their series. It's called Penguin Boy. I put the link on my community post. Check it out if you're interested. It's like a action shonen type series. So definitely support if you can. Andy said, if you have a lot of dialogue, I think you can break up the text with multiple word bubbles. It can disguise how much text there actually is and keep the eyes moving rather than stuck on a wall. Oh, that's a really smart idea. I should have suggested that. Mark said, a good way to market too would be to utilize popular social medias like TikTok, IG Reels, just to piggyback off of you, Pantheon. Yeah, 100%. Justin, did you see Webtoons has another contest, the Webtoon video contest? Oh my God. Why did you mention this? I have so many thoughts about this, and I'm trying to contain my rage because Webtoons, I don't understand what you're doing. Like, let me just say this, because if I really talk about this, I'm gonna end up on a tangent, and I feel like I need to save this for my news video when my head's a little more leveled about this, but they're doing so much. This is the third contest that they've announced slash release, and we're only in February. Like, I get it. Like, you guys want to be, very out in the open. Like, you want people knowing about you. You want people excited about your platform. But it's totally giving to me, look over here while I do this in the opposite direction behind you. So, like, you're looking straight ahead and behind you, they're doing something. Like, that is what it's giving. And I feel like they're trying to slip something through. And I looked so hard yesterday to see if I could find anything. I was like, something else is going on. Like, somebody's got to have released some news about this. I'm gonna leave it there, but come back. I might have tea later. I feel like I will die on this hill because I know something else is going on. Like, I'm so serious. Kyson said exposition is not bad when needed, but it's sometimes better to show than to tell on certain things. Yes, I agree with that. I think the issue, like, exposition is great. Like, 3/4 of your story is like going to be exposition depending on your genre, like, because you're relaying information to the reader, and that's exposition basically. It's all in how you frame it, in my opinion. Poyo said Webtoons PR is in panic mode. Do they even have a PR at this point? Like, I don't trust it. I don't trust that they have a PR team. Like, with all the ways scandals are happening there, like, I don't believe it. I'm telling you, they need to hire Olivia Pope. Lena said, I'm the problem. I read isekai. You are the problem. But hey, if you like it, I love it. Said someone who does not read isekai that often. I actually started, did I start an isekai? I don't know if it was an isekai. I take that back. Mr. Joy said, if you guys want to read a good thriller, check out my new comic, 13 Unluckies on Tapas. Mr. Joy, we will check it out. Like, I promise. Like, leave a comment down below after the stream and link your story so that people can actually read it. It's so much easier, and we are lazy. So if you just like link it, I feel like that would actually work. Kyson said, wait, Webtoons has another contest. Yes, they have another contest about like making videos or something. Like it's deranged, to be honest. It's crazy behavior to have all these contests right now. Like that Monster Hunter contest, I was like, why? Like you announced this and it's over like the next day. Pollo said, Webtoons has money for contests, but not enough to renew a better contract with loyal creator of 10 years. Listen, you said it, I didn't. Like, that's how I feel. But you have to think too, Webtoons also has Webtoon ambassadors that they literally, like, they have like that whole program, that whole process where they're like, become a Webtoon ambassador. Like, we love you who make Webtoons for us. Like, make free content for us and be exclusive in this club. And we'll send you free merch sometimes if you meet a certain threshold. I don't know about the threshold part. That's just how I feel. But I'm like, so you have these ambassadors that are in your little program. Like, why aren't they making videos for you? Like let's be so for real right now. Like, so you like just ask for ambassadors, and now you're like, hey, we're gonna do this open call contest where we're gonna give money to random people. Like, why did you offer that to your ambassadors first? Like, your ambassadors should have made. I'm out. I could be wrong. I could be insane. Like, this could be deranged Delulu behavior. Like, maybe some of the ambassadors are getting paid and I just don't know about it, but I feel like they're not. And I feel like if I was an ambassador and I saw this contest, I'd be like, this is a slap in my face. Like, why did I go through all of that processing? And literally all of the benefits are just going to the public. Like, I could have just stayed in the public's eye. I'm out. All right. Chick said, I don't understand why Webtoons is not popular on socials. I mean, they're kind of popular. Like, I think their TikTok is popular. I can't remember what it was, but I remember I was looking at some numbers and I was like, oh, all of these have over 100K. I can't remember what it was or what social it was, but they do some pretty decent numbers on some stuff. Sanya said, I eat up villainous stories. Oh, also another person why that trope is still around. But hey, I mean, if you like it, I love it. Say said, speaking about the video contest, does the submission need to be a positive review? Yes. I'm sorry, Webtoons is not going to green light someone being like, this is trash. Like, I would like eat my shoe. Like, I would literally like, nope, I wouldn't do that. I was about to be like, I would literally like turn on my camera and y'all could watch me eat a shoe. Nope. Nothing could force me to eat a shoe. But like figuratively in my mind palace, I would eat a shoe. Goop said, then there's me who's writing an isekai. Listen, again, if you like it, I love it. Set someone who's just trying to support you. Mr. Oh yeah, you're just talking to you. Okay, Andy said maybe Webtoons is trying to make the audience forget how a lot of creators are leaving. The new contest is basically free advertisement for Webtoons. Yeah, I mean they are. It's just insane behavior, to be honest. Mr. Joy said, I will leave a link. Also, I'm releasing episode 2 either tonight or tomorrow. I'm excited to read it. It's a full moon? For real? Cantella, hello. That's my bestie, people. Snaps and everything for Cantella in the chat. Raccoon Cube, hi, I finally caught you. Yes! Did you have something you wanted to ask me? It's getting late, so I feel like I need to jump off. But if you had a question, Raccoon Cube, since you're here, I'm willing to listen and answer your question if it's not crazy. What said my antagonist is giving Promised Neverland's Isabella. Ooh, I love a competent protagonist, antagonist. Like, I love someone who 1000% can like get stuff done. And Isabella was getting stuff done. I love the duality of the character and the complexity. Like, chef's kiss, so good. 1000%. Cantella said, I'll have to watch this stream from the start later. Yeah, it's been a fun stream. We had a really good time. We covered a lot of really interesting points. I hope that they're beneficial. Like, I hope that you guys can, who are creating thriller stories or even in general can apply this to your own writing to help it like grow and be more interesting. Like, I really, really, really hope that these videos where I'm covering stuff is just giving you a broader perspective. Like, obviously you do not have to, take my advice or my tips as gospel. Like, literally do what works best for you. If you only liked one point in this entire video, then I 1000% am happy that I was able to offer some sort of insight. Raccoon Cube, a question? Really? I get to ask one? Of course. Like 1000%. Everyone can ask a question. But I was like, since you were so excited that you finally caught me, I was like, are you trying to ask me something? I mean, you don't have to. That's completely up to you. Luna, hello everyone. Late but caught it. Yes. It is a very late stream. But I'm behind in my schedule and I'm trying to make it up. We're going to be analyzing the Everything is Fine webtoon on Friday. So we're going to be breaking it down just like how we did for Walk for Love and really going like beat by beat, trying to figure out like how they crafted the story, like what they did. We're going to be doing all of that on Friday. So if you are working on a thriller series and you want to see like that practical implement of how to create a thriller series, then come back on Friday and chat. And even if you're not making a thriller series, it would be a good time for you to come and hang out. You can join the Q&A. Okay, Raccoon Cube said, do you think an epic fantasy about the politics of kobold trade with a neighboring human trade city with the looming threat of Ghoul invasion interesting enough for the contest? It could be. It depends on how fantasy it is. Like, I love me a political story. I feel like, we're kind of slowly moving to getting like more complex stories like that I feel like it might be a little too ahead for Webtoon, but my story is also a little political. So I think like it could be really, really good. So yeah, I think it's interesting enough. Like, I would be down to read that. That's probably something that I would read before I read like a shonen type series. Like, I'm down for it, Raccoon. Lunatic said, I have a question, maybe for Apollo, maybe for chat. I'm working on a thriller suspense and I will for sure come ... Okay. Also, this will be my first foray into the world of webtooning. I'm looking for support and friends. Part of the reason I'm here. Aw, Raccoon. Well, there are tons of amazing people here in the chat that are super supportive and upbuilding. So if you hang out here for a while, I'm sure you will make a few friends and they will be down to help support you. So don't be shy, Raccoon. We're pretty friendly around here. Kaisen, I'm entering the epic genre, but this stream has been very helpful and informative. Yes. Awesome. Say said politics are iffy topic. Fantasy topics are welcome, but if it's similar to certain settings, it could be controversial. I do think you have to be careful. But so if you do decide to go and touch on like politics from current life, You just have to be prepared for how people are going to perceive that, and depending on your opinion, your opinion could be wrong. So you have to be aware of that as well. So there's a lot to consider. I think the trade aspect of Raccoon's story is probably what'll be like. I feel like that's more of the politics side of it than like literal politics. But I guess I don't know. Like, we'll just have to see. Pollo said, I'm working on 2 entries, so making a trailer is out of my hands. I can't even finish. Like, I'm doing my best to get the series that I'm working on right now done. Like, I cannot do anything else. I wish I could have entered for the contest. Like, honestly, my ambition when it first came out was like, we can make a story in every genre. Yeah, nope. Reality set in super fast. You said get his Discord or hers. I do not have control over the Discord, my guy. So if people here who are over the Discord want to send out an invite, like they definitely can. So you can ask Raccoon. Lunatic said, for sure, I will be here. I've been watching all the videos and we'll watch the next live. Okay, well, you didn't finish asking your question, but you can always DM me if you want to ask your question later. Rex said, I feel they're talking to Raccoon. I feel like the premise would be challenging to create the 3-episode hook that Pantheon talked about in the last video. But if you can pull it off, it would display your genius. Oh, yes. I do feel for like a political series, it is a little harder to give like that strong hook. So I would really have to read the series. Oh, Sonia said that anyone can join the Discord. Okay, that's awesome to know. I wasn't sure like if it was open invitation, Sonia, so I didn't want to just be like, everyone join. So that's really good to know. I'm still gonna be careful about just like saying it and being like everyone join Discord, but well, I guess I kind of said it now in video. So I guess I kind of did already do that. Maybe I should cut this. I'm gonna think about this. I'm sorry. I did not mean to put pressure on people. Like in hindsight, like I feel like I'm adding extra pressure to like to Sanya and everyone else. So I hope I'm not doing that. I really do. I'm so sorry. Like I'm gonna be a little more careful in the future. You said the kobolds have to be really cute and charming and likable. Don't make them ugly. The average webtoon reader wants cute and attractive. Remember this. This is the first law of character design. That is the first law of webtoon. It's that and abs. Yeah, Andy, my ambition was so high. It was like, well, you can do this. You can make a webtoon for every genre. Like, I wouldn't even claim to be someone who can write every genre, but my hubris was so big when the contest came out. Oh, man. Pollo said, I'm doing a drama entry and a thriller entry. No sleep for me anytime soon. Like, legit, no sleep for you at all, Pollo. You definitely need to rest, Pollo, for sure. Lunatic said, my question was about the best course of action. Does the art style influence the story? Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Raccoon, you just finished the title/cover of the art. Awesome. Well, I would love to see it. Okay, guys, so I'm going to get off. It has been so much fun. I need to go to sleep. I have to work tomorrow. I feel like I could just sit here and chat with you all forever. And especially with, everything that's going on, I feel like we have a lot to talk about. So with that, I want to do my creator shout out. It goes to Carrot Head. Remember, if you would like a shout out, all you have to do is ask me or DM me. Or if you're a follower, I'm going to pick randomly from my followers and shout you out myself because I really appreciate the support. Please pause the screen to read the description if this series looks like something that you would be interested in. There's all of the creators' info as well as the series info. And for all of you mad lads out there, look at my fan art for this week. I say this week because I feel like it needs to be in the next video. But like, I received this yesterday and this just solidified to me that I need to do the abs video. Like, we are going to be ranking the Webtoon boys abs. Like, that is happening. So this amazing creator decided to draw me this amazing fan art of Apollo showing off his goods. Like, look at that. Look at the definition. Look at that chest. Like, look at everything. Like, this should be my new avatar. This is what non-chibi Apollo looks like. I love it so much. Oh, man. So I also want to say a huge thank you to my patrons. I'm going to be doing a Patreon stream. I'm thinking this Sunday. I'm not sure yet. It'll either be Sunday or next Tuesday. It just depends on how my schedule goes this weekend. I'm a little busy this Saturday and Sunday, but I think I can squeeze in a stream. So if you guys want to come and hang out and watch me work on Queen's Game stuff, you can chat with me. We can hang out. You can join the chat as well. So like, there's a bunch of fun stuff going on that we've got planned within the next few weeks. Guys, March is going to be over, or March is going to be here very soon, and February is going to be over. Let's put in the work. Let's get this done. So with that, I'm just going to say thank you so much to all of, my wonderful patrons, as well as you guys here on stream. I cannot wait for the next video. Like, let's chat. Let's chat again on Friday. All right, bye-bye.